Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigvald here and welcome back to another video. So in this one I'm going to walk you through some fights against the sub-bosses in the tier 5 of the Dark Knight Soul Raids, and then we're going to get into the last fight against boss Bane Laughs. First up we're going to have a fight against Harley. Harley is going to be quite annoying to deal with for both free-to-play players and pay-to-win players actually, because she is immune to dots, so no beta club use is going to get you out of this one. She's going to also have high armor, which makes you kind of have to, for most teams, include some armor reduction, and at the same time is going to not have the most friendly to play against AI. But we're playing here with Deathstroke and Bane Laughs, and we're going to do as much damage as we can, because the more we deal here, the easier it's gonna be afterwards. Now we're already in the clones territory, so we're going to do our best here for the clones to not die. I can kind of combo and chop her reliably enough after one hit, I guess, but with the clone it just didn't work and he died there. Another special 2 in there. Re-engage the combo, another special 2. Jump attack, special 2. And I messed up there and the clone died. We did well enough, but definitely there was room for improvement there, and there was room for doing more damage, and that costed me a few fights. You're not gonna see all of them in this video, because the video would have been too long and too boring if I showed you every single fight, because what I did with Harley after this fight was basically just dumping every single team that was not gonna do much damage anyway against her, and just hitting at the brick wall until it breaks. Not the most fun experience, but it is what it is. But Harley is not so healthy though. 600 mil is definitely something we can handle. Now with boss entangling Poison Ivy here I have no excuse. It's the ideal fight, the ideal possible fight for this team. So if something goes wrong then it's definitely going to be my fault. I think she's immune to stun or something, or not even that, but overall she's gonna be a pretty straightforward boss, and the boss that's easy to combo and chopped. We started off with Deathstroke use there, and then I'm gonna switch into Bane Laughs. I think this is also, she's very annoying if you can't lock her into an infinite combo, and that happens when she's not in the corner, because she has a very fast transition into a block, and she's got quite a spammy jump attack animation. But I think it's a little bit more optimal to first get the base Deathstroke stuff out of the way and tank the super move, and then get the clones in there if he still survives afterwards, because that way we can get the clones later in the fight. And not have to worry at the start of the fight about her having super move, though I don't think really matters. I think I just randomly did this without noticing. I think I was on autopilot for this fight, but it turned out okay. I let that clone die deliberately there. Boy, that's hard word. And the second clone died faster than I would have anticipated. I was like, okay, let's get the second clone in there. Let's get some damage. Let's get some power generation. And she just eats out the second clone immediately. So yeah, fat rip. And we did as much damage as we could with Bane Laughs. It's kind of annoying because afterwards I used the Batman Ninja team. I used the Catwoman. I could have finished all those fights far faster if I just used the one-shot teams, because I took away Brainiac, if you remember from the previous video, and gave it to Golden Armor Wonder Woman to do some testing, to do a little bit of testing with her. And if I would have given Grodd Brainiac, Grodd would have been able to constantly one-shot bosses, and this would have been over far more soon. But yeah. Now we have the Batman Ninja team with the Beta Club. Now it's worth mentioning the passive stats for those fights. So we're going to have, for this one, level 9 Beta Club. And so we're going to have level 6 Dark Metal cards and level 5 Jokerized Batarangs. The Jokerized Batarangs will be upgraded to level 6 at some point throughout these fights, but I'm not 100% sure when. I think the safest place to assume they're upgraded is after we kill Trustus, because that's when we get some materials. Yeah, I messed up a bit in this fight. We did not have the most optimal gameplay, and I think we also got a little bit unlucky on the damage values. And keep in mind, compared to other soul raids like Advent of Chaos, I don't have the highest passive stats for those teams. So all the Batman Ninja team Beta Club, like, look at Sigvald complaining about something that's 600 mil damage while I don't even have Beta Club, but compared to other soul raids, this team is going to perform a little bit worse, and actually fell short of a one-shot here. Not a one-shot, but a cleanup fight, you know what I mean. And we had to use some other stuff here to finish her off. But nevertheless, it went well enough. I think she had 7 mil left, which is quite sad, because when it's 7 mil left, you know it's your fault. You know you did something wrong in that fight. Now for the boss Harley Quinn fight here, I have also the Batman Ninja team. They are so great in this fight because of two reasons. They can constantly reduce the armor, so her armor is no longer a problem. And at the same time, they can combo and chop her a little bit more reliably. Because Catwoman's got such a fast opener. At the same time, we have the Jokerized Batarangs on Catwoman, which are great. I did afterwards test them out to see how they would fare in a full fight, and they kind of get close to the level of the Beta Club, though you need to keep in mind two things. They are 2 levels lower than Beta Club, but at the same time also grant passive attack on the soul rates. I have Boss Bane here. Again, the Deathstroke Ben Flaps team. I think this team actually, considering all the artifacts that I have and everything else, I might fail a fight with Raven Plant Sakuman. No, not saying that I did, and I did not include it in the video. Not saying that I fought Boss Atrastus and left Dr. Fate gearless and it took him the whole fight to die and ruin the whole fight. I'm not saying that. But this team kind of never fails me. I have differing performances at points, depending on how good I do with the clones. But for the most part, this is a smooth experience with this team, and the kind of guaranteed one. So first clone gets in there. This one gets one-shot by that super move. Like, he could have been one-shot 4 times by that super move. There's nothing in the game that can tank Bane's super move because he's got the Berserk ability. Or is it? Stay tuned and you'll see in the next fight. But yeah, back to this fight. Here we got him dislodged from the corner and we don't even have that much health to combo and chop anymore, so I'm just messing around a bit. Got base Deathstroke back in there, another clone in there, and now we get him back in the corner and we can combo and chop him. This clone will no longer suffer from the not enough health to combo and chop problem. And yeah, overall, this went well enough. I am pretty happy with how this fight went. And yeah, bosses with Berserk ability are going to deal the highest damage. I think Black Adam deals more damage in Advent of Chaos because he's the most right boss, and the most right bosses are going to scale in damage compared to the most left bosses. But yeah, this might be the second highest damage dealing boss in the game. And now we have the League of Anarchy with Arkham Knight Batman. Usually I use Predator Batman with this because he's 7 stars and the stun lasts longer. But for this one I have Arkham Knight Batman for a reason that you're going to see here in a second. So my Arkham Knight Batman has only health. That's all he's built, health. And that was enough to tank the Bane super move. Barely, but it was enough to actually tank it. And this is not like the highest possible heroics, so we'll see how we fare in higher heroics, but we'll have more health from passive stats from artifacts, hopefully, until we get to that point. Now back to the Batman Who Laughs fight, and I know the third time you see this team, but hey, with this one we're going to have a little bit of a harder time, because this man is not the most friendly towards this team, and not the most friendly in general. Like, he's not too hard of a boss. Depends on how you look at things, actually, and depends on what you're able to do with the game. Some people might be like, oh, Raven is an easier boss, and I can definitely see that point of view. He's not that hard of a boss. He's a fair boss in terms of the fact that, except for the stun immunity, which I don't mind it too much, because if he had stun immunity, we would just spam Raven, League of Anarchy, and he would be one-shot in every single fight. But except for the stun immunity, he doesn't have any mechanics that literally say, oh, you're not gonna deal this type of damage, I'm not gonna let you do that, you're not gonna deal lethal, you're not gonna deal dots, you're not gonna be able to do crits. No, he's like, you can do anything that you want to do, but I'm gonna make your life a nightmare while you do it with the poison drops from the sky, and I kind of enjoy this type of design. Deathstroke has a similar thing, but I feel like boss Deathstroke is too much on the easy side of things, and he's such a forgettable final boss because he can be stunned and you just go Raven, Harley Quinn, and that's gonna be all. And that's not necessarily bad for people that like fights this way, to be like the easiest possible so that they can just be done with and get the rewards. What I personally like is a middle ground, let's say, between Collector vs Superman, which is unfair and simply frustrating to fight, and Deathstroke, which is arguably the easiest final boss. And I think Battle Laughs really does a decent job at doing that without having any unfair modifiers. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. And yeah, we need to stay off the poison for the most part. For this team, it will not be such a big deal as it was for other teams. Now we're going to finally get the clones in there. We took a lot of time with Battle Laughs, so yeah. There I was just trying to back off to see if I can bait out the super move, but that effort was kind of wasted. So now we're going to get a clone in there. Special 2. another special 2, and afterwards we're going to have to use the Raven plus less of Joker team, and while that does a decent amount of damage, it's not gonna be anywhere near the Harley damage, so every single bit of damage we deal here is going to matter. Now trying to push him to the corner. Block that special. You want to get close in there, except for when he uses super move by blocking specials, because that's the safest way for them to get to. And most specials in the game, and yeah, he ran the clone that randomly died. But back to my point, most specials in the game are going to, even though damage you to the point of death, not kill you until the end of the animation. And by the way, when that happens, and when you're in the middle of that type of special, you could, in theory, tag out and survive. That might be useful in some fights. Yeah, don't last back and they're trying to do some damage. But yeah, if they kill you with a special, you'll have a safe time with the clone for the start of the tag at the very least. And now for the last fight of this video. Oh boy, already giving spoilers. Oh, it's the last fight, so he definitely killed him with this one. Yep. Yeah, that's the case, but it's not gonna be a straightforward fight. We have sort of Sin here on Raven. And honestly, this might have been a mistake because we lost on a lot of passive stats by having that sort of Sin. And looking back on the fight, I don't feel like keeping him at no power was really mandatory. I thought that it was convenient, and I thought we by far have enough damage, so we don't have to worry. Sort of Sin is going to reduce armor and constantly power drains an artifact, but the armor reduction is not going to be needed here. And we have I think Joker has better ranks for passive stats at this point on EPI. Also, actually a thing that solved in this fight in terms of Sword of Sin that I'm not sure how I would have dealt with is his super move. I'm not sure how much his super move deals. I could have gone back and looked at the Deathstroke fights, because that's a reliable amount, because Deathstroke has 75% defense, so it would deal the same amount of damage to EPI or even that it dealt to Deathstroke, and I could have made the calculations if they would have survived. But without keeping him power drained, I'm not sure I would have had the guaranteed survivability on my team, though yet again there's a lot of ways to deny that super move or tank it with a Regen Matrix or Snow Globe. There's a lot of ways around it, but yeah. We got him in the corner here, and we're dealing decent amounts of damage, and at this point this fight should be very, very straightforward, but the madness on both my characters is going up fast, and that's not a good thing. Now we have to switch our gameplay and try our best to not stay in the madness with them, because there's gonna be moments in the game where you just can't not stay on the madness. Let's say I'm in the Joker Special 2 animation and I get taken on the madness, there's nothing I can do about that. So we need to have a little bit of leeway there, a little bit of room for madness to generate in situations where we can't really prevent it. Raven is quite close as well, closer than Joker. And yeah, I just sneezed, excuse me for that one. I hopefully turned off the microphone. Hopefully that button worked. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the Batman last fight. And do you think we got Legendary? Nope, it's your boy, Batman Ninja Batman. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, disliked if you disliked it, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
This is the future.